All right, our quick dive into N8N nodes is the file extraction features. So there are so many file types in this, and files are something I used to do a lot of work to build controllers and code to upload the files. But here, a few clicks in, we have APIs and routes that you can send files to. In this case, we'll send it with Postman. You can then extract data from those files or run them through some other system to do something. I mean, this used to be so frustrating, especially CSV files and PDF. I mean, again, this is just so good. So again, learning more how to no code, I'll introduce the extract feature in N8N and show how you can process these files in a few ways. And remember, AI is not everything. A lot of this is just backend. A lot of this is N8N saving you time, not coding, and building the backend you need for your system. AI will be a part of this, but it's not everything. It's like 20% of it. All right, enjoy. All right, first let's look at CSV files. I've spent a lot of time building applications that need to upload these, to import these. So to make it this easy to take a CSV file and make an API for it or a way for a controller to update it is just great. Here we're going to respond with just a generic respond to webhook, just for the heck of it. You'll see how this progresses. Now I'm going to use Postman for all of these, and we have one here for the CSV. And then I just had a system like Manus make a CSV file for me. And we're going to use form data. And then we're going to upload that CSV file to the API we just made. And so webhooks are pretty easy. I've gone over this a lot. And then we're just going to upload the file here. So at Postman, just so you know, you do form, then you make type, and then you upload the type. Now, when you upload a file, first of all, let's look at this. I'm not going to use tests, though you could, and it's great. It's just you got to click the button and run. I'm just going to use the production URL. That means I have to make sure that it is enabled, the whole N8N workflow. And of course, we're going to tell it to respond with the webhook that's connected at the end. And I see the green toggle up there. You see it's all on. So we have the response with webhook and whatnot. All right, so in here, I'm going to just send it like normal, and then we're going to go to past executions and give this a look. So right now, just return success. We'll see that progress. But here's our successful run. I go into debug mode. I click unpin, and then we do two things here just to show two things. First, let's see the binary file come in. You see this little tab here, which might go away on you, so just remember that. But that means it's the binary file, and this is a preview kind of mode. No matter what the file is, you can typically do something with it, download it, or kind of preview it, images and whatnot. But this is the cool part. Now we have rows and rows and rows of data. Now looking at schema, let me go do this first. So I went to extract, and look at all these options I have here. This is just so helpful. As someone, again, who builds or has built in the past with code these things, this is just so helpful. So now we can see that data, and we can even save that binary file to a folder on Google Drive, on Dropbox, on S3, whatever makes sense for your project. So it's just, that's just so easy. I mean, you could even trigger another automation by having another workflow listening for new files added. All right, so that was just so easy. Now, if you look here, I named it file. You can name it data, you can name it whatever. But one of the tricks here is remembering that you have to name the matching point the same thing. So when that comes in, it comes in as file. And so on the left here, we see the old way I had it, which is file. Now, if I have to change that to data, it will work. Same with here. So that's all that meant. That's not hard. Like, that's not something you have to follow, but you have to have them match the particular name of the file that's being uploaded. Now, when you run it, it should work. But let's see about this catch, okay? When you run a webhook or many things, sometimes they don't run. And then look at, we lost a binary. And they do run, but sometimes they wait, and it's too much work. So at this point, I would go back to Postman and just run it again. It's just easier. And this is where some people would use test mode. So if we do test mode for a moment, just so you can see. But again, I usually avoid test mode because once you get things working, you don't really need this. Binaries are probably the one place because they're so annoying sometimes with how you can't always pin them. But now if I send that in test mode and I leave test mode running, we see it just be done really quick because it's just there. And now I can go to the next step and run that. But I don't run this next step by pressing the orange button. I run the next step by pressing the guy next to the one that just got the test. But this can be annoying and tricky just so you can see it happen. But here we go. That file became data, and the key became how I pass it along. The key was file, now the key is data. So it doesn't really matter. Name it what you want. I try to use just single words. All right, now for the next one. So this one's a good one because not only does it represent how you can scrape data from the internet, but it just shows some things you could do to offer a quick service or whatnot. In this case, I'm using extract to text. Sorry, I didn't write that there. But when you extract, you can extract to HTML, which creates an HTML object. But I didn't want an object. I just wanted text because I want to pass it to the Markdown one, which is just really cool that, again, how I used to have to code this was just such a pain. But now with this one setup, I can send it to this new route. So we made the webhook. It's a post. We enabled it. And then we send it. Now, on the other end, we have the webhook response, which I said, hey, return the results of this transformation. So here we go. I'm going to click it. Now, I'm going to copy to editor. But look at, there's no unpinned data. So right there, we have a bug in N8N. And I'm going to reload the browser until I get the unpin, knowing that I've already saved everything. So if I reload the browser, you'll get this unpinned. So just remember, sometimes it happens. And I don't know why. Like smaller workflows doesn't happen. So all right, here we are with that past run. And we see our binary file on the left. We see this text of the HTML on the right. And then we open Markdown. We say HTML to Markdown. Now I could go Markdown to HTML, which is kind of cool. And we have a lot of other options we'll look at in a moment. Here we go. And I mean, it'd be interesting to try. I mean, I've had so many cases in the past where I really need to work with Markdown and convert it that we could do a lot here, honestly. It's kind of cool. And then we get the Markdown on the other end. Now, schema will show just a little. Remember that. Table and JSON will show you more. So if you find yourself struggling with what you got, it's pretty much just change that view. And then I'm just going to return it. So like maybe we needed a service to quickly do that. But of course, you could save it to the database. You could process it with AI. I will show that shortly, and do more with it. So yeah, that is how easy it is to do HTML to Markdown. All right, this next one's another good file extractor. It's the PDF one. Now, it's just OCR, and in the past I've done videos on how to do this with images, where you turn the PDF to an image. But we're just going to do PDF to OCR on both of these and look at how it works. So again, just a webhook. It's set to post. It takes the response and waits for the response of the webhook, or takes the request. And we just send a post to it. Now we're doing form data and Postman, so we can attach that file. And we gave the name of the file, because why not? And we upload it. Now, when this comes in, let's go look. And we might have that unpin problem, so let's keep that in mind. Yeah, oh, it worked this time. So now when we go in here, we have our PDF, many pages. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 or maybe more in this one. And schema doesn't show much, but then we get into, actually schema does show a lot here. But again, if you don't see enough here, go to table and you'll get a lot better view of things. Table might actually show the multiple pages. And then we respond with the OCR version. But let's do something cool here where we do a PDF of structured or unstructured data, like an invoice or lab results I had from a water testing company, and things like that. So now let's imagine this company's using email or API to get these PDFs, which are their lab results. And they're going to then have AI take that unstructured data and structure it. Watch how cool this is. Now, for them, it worked perfect because the PDF coming in was just a kind of a messy structure, sometimes not even consistent, sometimes even had screenshots of things. And so this one wouldn't handle screenshots, but that's easy. You just put the image part into it. And I'll show that in a moment, actually. So here we send the PDF to take the unstructured data and structure it. And then at this point, there you go. There's the results down below. But let's go look at how that process worked. Now, I had the AI generate the prompt for this unstructured structure, since it was data I made up with a Manus. But if we go to the back end and look for a moment, you'll see how we take the incoming data and we just read the PDF with the OCR, and then we'll just use the prompt to structure it. So let's go look at that really quick. But you can see those structured JSON below, and again, that's that webhook response feature. But if we go in here, so let's go find the one we just ran. Oops, I guess I skipped that. So seeing here how I just pass it to the AI system. Now I could pass a file, and that's kind of what I was getting at. I don't have to really OCR it or extract it. But once it gets that file and that data, we can then in the prompt say, take this data and reformat it. So again, the last one's a quick one. Again, this isn't just about, this is about the extraction features of N8N. But I got a little bit carried away here. In this one, I'm just going to upload an audio file and transcribe it. Just to remind you how easily you can manage files or do things with files when N8N is your backend system. So here I just upload an audio file, and what comes back is the transcription of that file. And really that easy. So again, building these things used to be so hard. Controllers, routes, deploying it, protecting it, taking the file and putting it somewhere while I process it. Sure, you could stream it. But look at this. It's like 2 clicks and we are done. And also notice the AI isn't everything here. It's just part of the process. There's a few of these that don't even have AI. So we see here the N8N file extraction, but we also see how you can just send files and do stuff with them. Here I just give the binary file to the AI and it takes it and transcribes it, which is what I can do with my notes or from the video, or sorry, audio from this video. All right.